This is gonna be a fun video, inshallah. I'm not being cute when I say this, and I mean it when I say that I think I have one of the most incredible community of subscribers on YouTube. You guys have been absolutely amazing. All of this popping up on the screen is evidence of how encouraging and positive you all have been. And so this video is for you. But if you're not a subscriber, you're new here and you're just being nosy and peeking around, then assalamu alaikum. My name is Hannah and welcome to my channel. I am a PA who practices medicine. I'm also a trauma coach, a life coach, and this is my channel. It is all about self-improvement, my self-improvement journey, and helping you guys along your self-improvement. I hit 10,000 subscribers, and obviously that could not have happened without you guys. But it's been absolutely amazing to see the level of growth within a month. The subscriber count skyrocketed to 10,000. I think it's almost at 11,000 at this point. And so this video is going to be a thank you. It is going to be a discussion of the direction of this channel now that I've hit 10K. And of course, I promised you all a Q&A, and so I will be answering the questions that you all submitted. Thank you. Thank you guys for joining the community. Thank you guys for being active. Thank you for every like, for every subscribe, for every comment. Thank you guys for picking my brain, for leaving positive feedback, for sharing your personal stories and experiences in the comments. I read every single one of the comments, and I do genuinely take into consideration what you guys as subscribers share with me. We are building a community on this channel, and that was my intention with this channel. I wanted it to feel like almost like a virtual masjid of sorts, where you feel safe to come and share and learn and grow. I wanted it to be a hub for God conscious self improvement. Whether you're dealing with struggles in your family, in seeking a spouse, or in your marriage, in setting goals, productivity, I wanted to offer you guys a way to look at this, but with an Islamic framework in mind. Because if you can take the best of what the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ has to offer us, and then you can compound that on the systems that we know work for life transformation, you will be unstoppable. And I know who the true members of this community are, because you guys are deep thinkers. You ask the right questions, you're growth oriented, you focus on what you can do better. I get hate comments every now and then, but honestly, they don't hurt my feelings because I have so many incredible comments to come back to from you guys, for which I'm so grateful. Let's talk about the direction of the channel moving forward. Obviously, when a channel scales this quickly, it's important to get really clear on what the point of posting videos is. And while I had some sense of direction when I first started posting, I had to get super clear on what I wanted my channel to be for you guys, for the audience. And so, like I mentioned earlier, my channel is going to be a hub for God conscious self improvement and healing content. And it's essentially going to reflect what I coach on. I have a trauma group coaching program for Muslim women. And I also, for those of you guys who don't know, just opened up my calendar for one on ones. I've been getting a lot of requests to work one on one with people. So if you want to work with me one on one, by the way, the link is in the description. But I do high impact self improvement and life coaching. I'll pop up a few testimonials on the screen so you guys can see what the experience of my clients has been. With that said, this channel is an extension of that. It is essentially me serving you guys and coaching you through different pain points in your life. If I can use what I've learned through my personal experience, learned through my education, learned through consulting with experts, then I want to share that with you guys so you can grow and you can learn and you can build a life for yourself that you're genuinely proud of and thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. You'll be seeing a lot more content on trauma. You'll be seeing a lot more content on mindset, on personal growth. There's going to be more content on marriage. Additionally, I'm working on digital assets for you guys, ebooks, workbooks, worksheets, things of that sort, so that you can take what you're learning and do a deep dive. And so that life transformation can truly be more accessible to you guys from an Islamic framework and a high impact life coaching framework. If you've gotten this far and you're not subscribed yet, hit subscribe. When I post on the community tab in YouTube, reply. I remember each and every single person who replies. That's how I get ideas for new videos. That's how I decide what I'm going to put out there based on your suggestions and your interaction. And just enjoy the vibe. Enjoy the sense of encouragement. If you want to see me as your internet mentor, see me as that. If you see me as your teacher or an expert on certain things, then take what you can from that. Be intentional while consuming. We spend so much time on the internet, on our phones, but we don't consume with intention. And it's so, so important. With all of that being said, I hope you guys continue. Enjoy the videos, share with others, And if at any point you feel that itch or you have that thought, I want more, then do yourself a favor, entertain that curiosity, and apply to work with me, either one on one or in the trauma group coaching program. I would love to offer my hours and my skills to serve you in becoming the version of you that you could have only dreamed of before. It truly is life coaching. I'm not kidding when I say that. It's truly one of the best investments you can make for yourself because it cuts down on so much time, money, and effort and gets you where you need to be faster. Let's jump into the Q&A. I have your questions right here in front of me, and I'm going to be starting with the questions that were submitted on my community post on YouTube. And I haven't prepared my answer. This is going to be off the cuff. I will start with the first question. This is from Zubair. My question is, from all the skills you possess, fields you have been involved in, practicing medicine, coaching, trauma and healing, public speaking, making videos, to name but a few, which ones were things you found you had a natural talent and interest for and saw yourself doing from early on? And which ones were maybe more unexpected that you realized at a later stage? That's a really, really good question. I never fully thought about that. This is going to sound interesting. Practicing medicine and coaching probably were the two that came very naturally to me. Now, obviously, you need to learn medicine to be able to practice medicine, but a huge part of medicine is there's an investigative side of it. You have to learn how to ask the right questions, you have to make connections. And my brain just always worked like that. Even as a student, I think a lot of my professors and during my rotations, a lot of my preceptors were pretty amazed at how I was able to put things together and get to therapeutic conclusions that others would have to work very hard to get to. Coaching is very similar in that I actually think that probably what makes me a great coach is the fact that I have that experience with patients. And there really is nothing more sensitive that you can work with someone on than their health, because you're talking about their life at the end of the day. Learning how to navigate difficult conversations, learning how to change the mindset of my patients, help them get outcomes that so many other providers would have overlooked for them. It's very similar to the way I coach. As for what I had to really work on, public speaking and making videos for sure. Making videos, there was a huge learning curve. And if you don't believe me, go to my earlier videos and you'll see the difference in quality. I had to learn how to organize my thoughts, how to edit intros, hooks, thumbnails, titles, all of that. But I had this mindset, and everyone, this is one of the best mindset shifts you can make if you don't know how to do something, that you can figure it out. And I knew I could figure it out because I knew so many other people had figured it out. It's just a matter of a skill set that I had yet to develop. Thank you for that question, and I will move on to the next one. This is from ABCXYZ. Should, in your opinion, a Muslim woman not be public on social media? It has a negative effect on marriage. So I don't know if this is a question or also just a statement of the user's personal opinion. I think this is a question that requires a little more thinking than most people would like to think about, because we want a clear yes or no answer. Obviously, I'm someone who's public on social media. That's, you're watching a YouTube video of me now. I would say this. Social media is a tool, just like every tool, and you have to be mindful of how you use it. You mentioned marriage. There are going to be men who absolutely do not care. There are going to be men who care a lot. For any woman who is in that situation, you're probably going to want to investigate that and ask, are you someone who is comfortable with their wife being public on social media or not? I don't think it's as black and white. I think, what's the intention behind being on social media? As an example, I'm on social media because helps people to know me, know the services I offer. It's a means of delivering value to the Ummah, which is something I'm extremely passionate about. It's a way to deliver my expertise. It's my legacy that I'm building, that I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from me. And so that after I pass away, people who are continuing to benefit from the content that was put out there, I get the reward for it. Now, on the other side, if you're just putting out content because you want the likes, you want people to look at you, you want the ego boost, that's when things get sticky and that's where things get dangerous. And it could also lend itself to arrogance. Social media has a really weird way of making us slip into sin without us even knowing it. And the danger behind that is, if you sin on social media and now 100 people saw this video of you, this reel or TikTok or photo or whatever it might be, or 1,000 people or 10,000 people, an unlimited number of people could see that, you are getting the sin for every person that laid eyes on that, because our sins are supposed to be private. And instead, we literally put it on one of the most magnified platforms you can possibly experience. Consider what consequences you're willing to accept and which ones that you wouldn't. And more importantly, consider how this affects your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I will leave it at that. Next question. This is from Kashar. I think Kashar. Assalamu alaikum, sister. I just started following you prior to this Ramadan and love your videos. I'm your 19-year-old younger sister. I love that. And I would like to get advice from you regarding how to know whether it's just attraction or love for opposite gender. I'm struggling with this since a year now. Sometimes there's no feeling, while other times I can't keep myself calm. It's like a graph which fluctuates according to different phases of my menstrual cycle. And the worst part is it's my 10-year older first cousin. And how do you control yourself from reading romantic books, novels, and imagination? My mind does, which I can't control. Thank you, sister. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us and help us all stay steadfast on our deen. Good question. What you seem to be describing is something called limerence. Limerence is very different than attraction love. It is basically where we feel intense emotions of attraction, that dopamine spike, that thinking about that person, but then we build out a whole story and even like another world with this person in our mind. And so that person now becomes a way through which we cope with the life that we're living. This is actually sometimes something, and I'm not obviously saying that this is your story, this just happens to be something that we also see very often in individuals who grew up with childhood trauma, because the relationship between very important people in their lives ended up being broken or neglected. And so as a result, what our brain will do is try to create faux relationships in our mind to help us cope with that. This is my personal opinion and idea on love. I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in intense attraction at first sight. I believe that in order to love someone, you have to go through challenges with that person. Love can be grown, love can be nurtured, but it just, in my opinion, doesn't just magically pop up out of thin air. It needs to be tested. I don't think anyone can love someone that they just saw and hasn't had an actual connection with. We can be infatuated with them, we could be attracted to them, we could be interested in them, but love is a very different thing. That's what I would have to say to that. Next question is from Anisa. I recently joined your channel in Ramadan and it is amazing that you reached 10K subscribers. May Allah grant you even more. I have two questions. How do you balance your working professional life while also being a wife too? Any tips, strategies, and how to have those conversations for single women seeking a partner? Number two, I love meet cute stories. How did you and your husband meet? Good question. Number one, how do you balance your working professional life while also being a wife too? That's really important, right? That when you get married, your marriage should be at the top of your priority list. And so for me, it was very clear in my head that as much as I love what I do professionally, that is not going to ever be prioritized at the detriment of my marriage. And so I set that as a standard for myself. And then what ends up happening, right, when we set a standard for ourselves, there's two things that happened for us to actually meet that standard, or have to happen for us to meet that standard. Number one is there's an identity shift that needs to happen. When we shift our identity, we shift the way we perceive ourselves, then these things that otherwise would have been difficult become easy. As an example, my identity is one of a Muslim. Therefore, when I need to get up and pray, or I need to fast in Ramadan, or I need to be honest, or I need to be charitable, it doesn't feel like, oh my God, I need to do all of this, because that's just what a Muslim does. I had to shift my identity to I am a wife who prioritizes her marriage. And so when things would come up and I notice I'm getting too busy with work or with different projects, the thought comes to my mind, what can I be doing right now that's going to help me to be a better wife? And then I would do those things. Two is it's important to have these conversations. If you are married, obviously for a woman with your husband, what are your and essentially the way I kind of navigated this is like, what are your absolutes? This expectation needs to be met for you to feel loved. And then I had that list. And also I gave license to my husband, and you should give license to your spouse, right, to bring forth a complaint if he felt like I was falling short in something. And that's really, really important. We get very sensitive about these things, and understandably so. It makes sense. Success leaves clues, right? So this is what I kept seeing in healthy marriages. The lines of communication are open, meaning someone can come forward and say, this thing I don't feel is supporting the health of our marriage. And the other person has a choice at that point. Do I want to do something to change that? Or do I want to continue in the way that I am even if it means that my marriage may end up in flames. So basically, to summarize, identity shifts happen, and then after that, there's this constant recalibration when you find you're actually not meeting the standards that you set for yourself or living out the values that are in line with your identity. Now, to the question about how to have the conversation with a partner is be honest with yourself, first of all, of what you want to do with your life, what dreams do you want to achieve, what do you want to put out into the world, and how important that is to you. And also, it can be open ended. Sometimes we don't know what we want to do. I didn't know that I wanted to do what I'm doing right now several years ago, but subhanAllah, it came to be. And get the other person's thoughts on that. Perhaps they're the kind of person that says, no, I want someone who doesn't care to do those things. Good job. That's information. That's all it is. It's information. This might not be the right husband for you. And that's okay because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is generous and abundant, and there are other people in the world who would want someone who wants to serve their community and connect with other people. As for the meet cute stories, how did you and your husband meet? There's no meet cute story. We were introduced to each other. He was a suggestion to me. I found that he had a lot of the qualities that I wanted in a husband, at least on paper. As discussions and conversations progressed, things were very clear to me that yes, he did have those qualities. And as we faced challenges during our engagement period, that proved to me his character. And subhanAllah, that just ended up being through a lot of istihada, a lot of dua, and the willingness to just take the dive because there's always going to be that little bit of anxiety, that Allah showed me that this was the right decision. Moving on. Are you a licensed therapist, sister? Thank you very much. No, I am not a licensed therapist. I am a nationally board certified and licensed PA. I practice medicine. Samreen asks, how did you decide which career to pursue? It was a combination of a few things. What was I interested in? I was always so fascinated by medicine and just the diagnostic process. What has good job security? What makes money? If you want my honest answer, I'll be very straight up with you. If the average salary of a PA was a third of what it was today, I would not work as a PA because, quite frankly, the level of education, the level of risk and responsibility you take practicing medicine is so high that I expect to be compensated highly on that. The risks associated is that with every single patient you see, something could go terribly wrong, and that's a life in your hands. And then on a legal aspect is you can get thrown in jail. That's how I decided. Moshi asks, I'm wondering why and how you became a PA. Did you want to be a physician in the first place but decided to take on a more stress-free career? Also, what's your ethnicity and what do you like to do in your free time other than work and the YouTube channel? This is a few questions in one. I decided to become a PA basically because there's a lot more laxity. Oh, I had to reposition myself. I decided to be a PA for a few different reasons. First and foremost, I had no interest in becoming a physician. There's this myth that people have that people become PAs because they can't get into med school. I graduated with a 3.9 GPA, double honors in university. I could have gotten into med school just as easily as any of the top applicants. I wasn't worried about that. I just had no interest. I had no interest. I didn't care about the notoriety. I didn't care about the paycheck. I had no interest in being abused through a residency. I have friends who were in medical school who are in residency. I see what they have to go through. I have no regrets about the path I chose. As the PA, we can switch specialties, which you can't do that as a physician without, you have to go back to a residency to do that. Also, the burnout rate for physicians in the United States is extremely high. I didn't want that. It was just a matter of what aligned with the kind of life that I want to live. I want to practice medicine, but PA aligned better with that. What's your ethnicity? I'm Yemeni. That's my ethnicity. What do you like to do in your free time other than work and YouTube channel? I'm a boring person. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm very content with a simple life. I'm not like I'm not very extroverted, believe it or not, even though I have a channel. I enjoy going on walks. I enjoy going to the park. I enjoy working out, strength training. I have to get back into strength training after Ramadan and sorting out some health issues. I enjoy spending time with my husband. I enjoy spending time with my best friends. I used to always go out to eat with my niece when I was back in Michigan. So I enjoy like company with people who are very close to me. I don't like big circles. I don't like a lot of noise. And my husband got me back into anime. I used to watch it when I was younger, but that has also been really enjoyable. You guys, the video has gotten super long and I still have a few more questions, so I will do a part 2 of this Q&A, inshallah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to the end, comment below. I want to know who actually watched the entire thing. If you haven't already liked this video, please do so. Subscribe if you haven't. And of course, if you are interested in working with me one-on-one, then jump on over to the description to learn more about my services. I will see you later, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.